Okay guys, taking a break from the dump this weekend, and I decided to come creek walking in a town that I've never walked a creek in, and I have no idea what's in here, but I do know three things. I'm in a really bad neighborhood. I have protection on my side. The oldest cemetery in the city is up there, and there's no dumping signs on the road that I parked on. So to me, that's a trifecta. And I walked in here with a big heavy backpack on, and I immediately found some cool things. And my backpack was so heavy, I went back to my car and took it off. And I just have a tiny backpack on my back and one thing of water. So the first thing I saw was this. That looks pretty old. The seam stops about right there. It's hard to see. That was a blob, maybe a crown, I don't know. Oops, sorry, my finger was over the lens. Amateur. There's that. And then I looked over here and I saw something blue sticking out of the ground. So I came over here, and you can see it was right there. I pulled it out, and that's pretty old. BGC, BG Co. I think is what that says. Look how thick that glass is. Oh, that would have been a really pretty bottle. See if there's any embossing. No, the embossing's broke off. And then I was like, I'm gonna walk this way. And then I saw that. I don't see a seam at all on the neck. Wow. Well, maybe my trifecta will work out. I'll turn you back on as soon as I find something whole or something broken that's really cool. So here's the creek. I don't even probably can't tell, but there's a big, looks like an old road bed or something maybe. But if you look right there, right there, there's a blue bottle top. I already went and looked at it. It's pretty old. Alright, I just saw this. It's a license plate. But look at that. Look what a cheap, lazy world we live in today. A modern license plate, and the ACL is peeling off of it. Ugh. And there's a brick that says Elgin. Elgin is a city in Texas, which I don't think is too close to where I am. I think that's closer to Austin. Alright, see you in a minute. So I made it down a little further. I'm getting ready to go across. I think that's a pedestrian bridge. It goes from like a hiking path over here to the big cemetery that's up there. But look what I just pulled out of the bank. Oh, I don't want to touch this because this place stinks so bad. Alright, let's see. Yeah. That is a piece of an old crock. Alright, let's see if we can find a hole. Well, actually, I was wrong. Oh, forget it. It's actually a train bridge. And the walking path goes under the train bridge. Over there. Okay, you can see right here, you start seeing train parts. There's a spring over there. Mud flap to a Ford truck. Here's some railroad spikes. Bunch of weird stuff up there. Oh my god, it's hot in the sun. There's a big iron door or something. I assume it goes on a train. I know that goes for a train. And those. I'm wearing my hip waders because the water is so smelly. But it's so hot. Okay. You can see, here's the old stumps to the old bridge. They're over there too. Alright, I'm gonna rest for a minute. So I got really overheated and I started walking in the woods to get out of the sun. And y'all have to see this. I came over here because I saw tires, but you know, tires are not the age I'm looking for. I'm looking for the bottles of people who didn't have tires. But anyway, so I started coming over here. And look at that. It's all just, I think the cemetery's up there. It makes sense, but look at this. All the way over there. I don't think it's very old, but I'll go look at it. Well, most of it is pretty modern, but there's a bunch of dig holes over there. And I found that in the tailings. Chamberlain's colic, cholera, and diarrhea remedy. That's pretty old. I'd have to go back to the car and get my shovel, and I just don't feel like doing that today. I was taking a break from the dumps. And just hoping to find some bottles just laying in the water. So, anyway, I know where this is. And I'll come back another day. About to go to another creek. Alright, I'm on my way from Plan B to Plan C. And there's a dead-end road down there. And I saw this thing sitting in a field. It almost looks like a church steeple, but it's on the ground. And I don't know what it is. So I thought we'd look at it together. It is a church steeple. Murphy Street Christian Church. May 12th, AD 1906, maybe, I don't know. Or 1900, 1906. M.T. Brown, pastor, trustees, T.A. Hendricks, B.J. Edgar, W.F. Hatcher, James Jones, Peter Fisher. So I'm not sure if there was a church that used to stand right here, and this is like a monument to the church. But it's like they cut it off the top of the church and stuck it on the ground. This little thing's on top. It's got a new roof. Somebody's taking care of it. Let's see what's inside of it. Oh, just a bunch of wood and some trash. Interesting. Lots of wasp nests. Look at this. Nice. So anyway, I was just at Plan B, which was to hike a railroad track to that was next to a creek. And as soon as I got out of the car, right in the woods, I just noticed just tons of dump. So I went in there, and as soon as I walked in, I found a wallet on the ground right inside the trees. And it still had, there was no money in it, but it still had all of the person's credit cards in it. It had her driver's license, had her medical insurance card, and so I said, oh, well, I looked at the address on the license and it was in the same city. And so I took it with me, and on my way back to the car, I looked at the address. It wasn't that far. And I looked to see if her driver's license was expired. I figured maybe it had been in the woods for a long time, but it wasn't expired. And but then I looked at her date of birth, and it was 1939. I was like, oh Lord, I'm gonna go knock on these people's house and they're gonna tell me she just died last week or something. I'm gonna feel really bad. But anyway, so I went over to her house, and I didn't want to film it, you know, because she was old, and I didn't want her to think that I was I didn't want to ask her if I could put her in my video, because then she'd think that I was just returning her wallet so that I could, you know, get content for my YouTube channel or something. I don't know. But anyway, she answered the door, and she was so excited. She wanted to give me money, and I said, no, I'm not taking your money. I just wanted to return your wallet because I'd hope somebody would do the same thing for me. And she just gave me the biggest hug, and she's like, I wish I could have filmed it. It was so cute. But anyway, I'm gonna, oh, that's a train track back there too. Man, there's train tracks everywhere here. All right, let me hike into those trees down there, and I'll turn you back on to find something good. All right, this is Plan C. It's working out pretty good. I came back to that big old dump that I showed earlier. And I can see a couple of dig holes, and I started digging like deeper than the other people had, but I was finding stuff that was too modern, like these. But this one's really cool because it has writing on the front, which I can't read right now. Maybe says cold cream. Duh. But the top is still good, and it says something cold cream. Improved cold cream. But the top's intact. You don't find that very often. And then a square one. So I moved spots. And as soon as I sat down here, I found stainless sewing machine oil. That would have been nice. And RONM. No idea. But then I found this, and I'm really excited, and don't laugh at me, because I'm so sick and tired of digging into bottles that say, this bottle contains Mrs. Stewart's bluing around the top edge. But look at this one. I know it's just a Mrs. Stewart's bluing, but how often do you find one that has a slug plate on the front? And I think it's blown in a mold. And this down here is very sharp. I don't know, like it's not just a suction scar. I think this might be a pontold. I mean, it's really sharp. Like if I ran my hand around this real fast, I could cut my hand. I don't know. I might have found the oldest Mrs. Blue Wings in the world. Anyway, oh, this is what I turned you on, really. And then there's that, of course, and I hit it right there. Hopefully it's not some really cool embossed local brewery beer thing. Dumb. All right, let me dig it out and I'll turn you back on. There it is. It's like a squatty beer. I don't see any embossing on it. It had a bruise right there that fell out when I pulled it out of the hole. I didn't do that. I think it's blown. I don't see any embossing on it. It's really heavy. Pretty cool bottle though. I don't know what was in it. There you go. A little squatty fat beer type thing. All right. See you in a minute. Well, that's it. I've tried to dig out of this tree. The ground is super hard. I'm sure there's more down there, but I gotta bring some different tools. All I have is a little shovel and my little rock pick. So I didn't find much, but I'm happy with what I found. Most important thing is I found a new spot. So I will see y'all on my next adventure. Please subscribe if you like my videos, and happy hunting.